I suppose this will round up the content from my trip to Milwaukee that I took last weekend, and this is a good one. On the last day I was there, I had the chance to tour the home of the Brewers. I call it Miller Park. I know it has since changed names, but I can't quite get over it, so that's why. But this was cool. I got to see some parts of the stadium that obviously aren't available to most of the time, and you'll see highlights from the tour here, including some photos. And the big one is looks like just a room, and it's the Brewers radio room. We weren't able to go inside, but it's where Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball, would have done his thing, and it was just neat to be able to be in that space briefly and see that. And they were very respectful of Mr. Baseball and his legacy, so we weren't able to go inside, but that was very meaningful. And then actually got to set foot on the field, and I've got some video of that as well. The roof was open for the tour, so without further ado, let's send it on over to past me in Milwaukee. Thanks for watching. We're over 335 subscribers now, so that's pretty cool. Appreciate the support. Let's do it.
First serve available to anybody that has a ticket in the bowl, which is kind of a cool thing. The only thing is, they will probably ask you to buy something, and that beer or nachos will probably be a couple dollars more that might be in the bowl. Blades of grass, 5 of them are artificial, or I actually saw a grounds crew person kind of repairing like a 2x2 square, and you literally have like a needle point and some artificial grass going boom every inch or so.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Plopping it in.
So there's artificial
turf
after a concert that ripped up some of the outfield. They replaced it.
But yeah, so that's once again.
Man, so you could actually come up here. Could have been up here this weekend. That's awesome.
Did not know that.
What a view.
You see the Miller light right above the left field. The Johnsonville, that's actually the Bail Yard seating, that restaurant. And then right above the bullpen is the Associated Bank Power Alley. That's a pretty cool experience. I was actually able to sit there with my dad and 2 brothers for CC Sabathian's first game as a Brewer. And I was sitting right over CC Sabathian, like, this is so
That's
cool.
awesome.
You got semi-private
Legendary.
bathrooms for 300, not 3,000, right? And then you have the choice of seating, right, outside, like I said, or in here. Pretty cool. I've heard this experience, if you go to, say, Philadelphia or something like that, could be upwards of 3.
Sweet.
And then the terrace level is the highest. We're not going to go on the terrace. And then we are going to go on the service level. Now we get access to the dugouts in the field. But so we're on the club level.
Who's this Sandy? I'm seeing it everywhere. Welcome to the ballpark, Sandy. Who's Sandy? Yes, it says all like the suits on it.
That's cool.
This looks pretty new, like and family new. I don't know if they're doing it really fun.
So yes, we walked all this way to see a parking lot. But it's a big part of being a Brewer fan is there's 12,500 spots here, which was the most in Major League Baseball until Texas did their thing a couple years ago, and of course they had to go bigger. I think they had 12,501, but I'm not sure. It was more. But the Brewers do have the most land in Major League Baseball at over 250 acres. During the game, there were about 20 people that are working in here. Now there's 25 because of the twice as much. It's twice as much on the scoreboard plus the other one in right field. And then so all the information that you see electronically in the ballpark is controlled out of here. Right, so that's pretty cool. They actually used to have, we'll see it in the days of the 1930s and 1940s or whatever. They probably had it open from the standpoint you can hear the ball in the bat, the ball in the glove, you could hear the roar of the crowd kind of thing, and that filtered into the radio now, and that just kind of carried over where they keep this open. So you can see they have a net, but that net isn't really high. So balls come back. I've heard that.
There's literally dents in the ceiling tiles too, Chris.
Yeah,
Oops.
even that. Right. A couple of
So
them.
you got to watch
You
out
have
when
to
you're
get
in
the-
here because these windows are open. Watch out for flying objects.
Yeah, right, for home runs. Just an incredible way to call it. It was as exciting on the radio as it was live when you heard Bob's call. Looking at the edges of the
Roof control
of the roof as it
for the
opens
big
or
retracting
closes.
roof.
So it takes 6 people to operate the roof. But you go, really? So it's obviously one person in here, they're pushing the button or whatever, and obviously monitoring things. But then there's 4 people that are stationed up on the roof, and then a supervisor coordinating the whole thing.
Whoa.
But so the roof, I mean, it's on the technical tour that I do it. It's like it is so cool. There's a lot of cool stuff, and the engineering on this facility is just phenomenal from an engineering, technical, geeky standpoint, right? But just some basics, right? So the way the roof opens, it's the only one in North America. There's only one other like this in the world that opens the way it does. So it kind of pivots on my wrists, right? And then the panels slide like on my fingertips, right? It's kind of like a wedge. So there's 7 panels, 5 of them are movable, and we'll talk about it when we get on the field. But the reason why I wanted to show you this is so if you look over on the right-hand side, there's a small picture. That picture is, imagine my fingertips, they call them bogies. They're small, like 2 small little trains. They sit on a unirail in the outfield. And so imagine 2 bogies per panel.
That's cool.
And they're managed by a 260 horsepower electric drive. So that's how the roof moves back and forth.
Brewers clubhouse right here.
So
Down
everything
here in the
that you can
tunnel.
imagine. The batting cages are right over there, right across. And the cool thing is, they got some new, they called it a traject system, which was put in, actually the Cubs were the first one to use it in 2019. But they can go,
We're by the umpires'
starting pitcher.
locker room. Starting pitchers decide the unis. I didn't know that.
Right, so I mean, you get,
Never knew that.
Stepping on the field. Visiting dugout right here. We were sitting right here on the other side Friday night.
As you can see, it kind of pivots on like what my wrist would have done. It spans 600 feet. It's 270 feet to the highest point inside, and then over 330 feet to the ribs on the outside. It's contrary to what people, even other managers, believe. The Brewers do not control the opening of the roof after the game starts. They control it up until game time, but then after the game starts, the umpires determine when it opens and closes. It's hard, and they're all
we're at the start of where the
and I know
sausages would
that
race.
because I was fortunate enough
tarp.
to have all 3 of
And
my
they
kids
run
work for the brew crew,
all the
and
way
all 3 of my
down
kids did
and
racing
all the
sausage
way
racing.
over across.
2 fun stories. One story with my daughter. She was the youngest. The boys did not tell her how to do a racing sausage race. And so like imagine those uniforms or those costumes, right? It's that thick foamy type stuff, right? And then on the inside, imagine like PVC piping, right? That's kind of like the simple frame, right? Okay. So Lexi, being athletic and a pretty competitive young lady, she's like, I'm going to win my first race. And she starts going, and she gets those arms swinging.
Uh-oh.
PVC pipe is slamming her into the forehead. She got home with a huge bruise across her forehead. The boys had a good laugh. We all had a good laugh.
Youch.
So that was fun. So your message, your takeaway should be, if you ever have a chance to run a racing sausage race,
Don't.
if you watch it, if you're at the game tonight, watch how, because they're holding it tight. Their arms are not, they're kind of T-Rexing it, and they're doing it so they hold that PVC pipe closer to body so it doesn't knock them out as they go.
That's wild.
So anyway, so now you go from behind them.
Yep.
So it kind of goes like this.
To see all this out here. See the bullpen next. Man, here's the Brewers bullpen.
And then if
In
I
there.
said a 100-mile pitch is pretty evident today's game. Same thing with the 90-mile-an-hour pitch. Both can be very effective pitches, right? So now, if I have 2 pitchers throwing a 100-mile and a 90-mile-an-hour pitch at the exact same time, clearly the 100-mile-an-hour pitch is going to win, right? 100-mile pitch is going to win. By how much? It's geeky math. It's actually pretty simple. 9/10 of 60 is 54. 60 minus 54 is 6 feet. So 6 feet. So now, if you're a hitter on the pitcher, 100-mile pitch, I'm in your head, right? 100-mile pitch, you're trying to get that reaction time, 100-mile pitch, and then I go 90-mile-an-hour pitch. Do you ever see the batter kind of doing one of these things? It's about 6 feet, right? And that's just the speed. That's just speed. That's not 17 inches left to right. It's not 25 to 30 inches up and down. Doesn't do any movement with curveballs, sliders, anything. That's just speed.
Just finished our tour of Miller Park, and we're also going to try to take a spin through the Milwaukee Public Museum, probably the last time I'll get to go to that. Then I have a train to catch, so we'll see what we get up to. Let's head over. Just a couple of bonus voiceover photo descriptions. We've got me in front of the ball field as we were doing the tour. We also have a still of the room where Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, did his broadcasting. We weren't allowed to go in, but we did get to see that, so that was a pretty special place to be at. And then moving along from there, we have myself in the press room with my buddy Mike, who did the tour with me, so thanks for joining me and helping get me around and describe everything all weekend. So that's the room where they do the manager press conference, that sort of thing. Here we've got the bullpen golf cart from the Baseball Classic Major League. Another tie to Bob Uecker. There's me in the driver's seat, dangerous spot for a blind guy. And then closing it out is Mike and I in the visiting dugout for the weekend. It had been the Twins dugout as they took 2 of 3 from the Brewers, and that'll wrap up the tour. Thanks for checking this out. If you have any questions, comments, queries, theories, concerns, or anything else, let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you soon. Peace. All right, they closed the roof in the time it took us to get to the parking lot. Goodbye, Miller Parkas.